Hi, this is Jacques Taylor, and you're listening to Jacques Talk. This is a podcast where I talk about the Cowboys, the team I've covered as a beat writer, columnist, TV insider, and radio host for 28 years. I'll also talk about the NFL and the things I love, working out, streaming, food, and all things down. Welcome to Jacques Talk, where sports is fluid. What's true today might not be true an hour, a day, or a month from now. I'm going to give you the truth straight, no chaser. Glad to have you aboard. Let's get it. Welcome to episode 99 of Jacques Talk. I'm Jacques Taylor, joined by my boy Big Joe and the Big Red. What's the sit rep, dog?
Let's see here. We are 48 seconds in. We are 5 by 5. I'm feeling a little spicy today.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
All right, I feel you on that. Hope you guys are prepared to be entertained and dazzled for the next hour or so. 99, who comes to mind?
Man, I've been through so much stuff this week, I don't know.
Come on, man. Give it up for Hervin McCormick, dog. Give it up for Hervin McCormick, man.
All right, then.
That's my boy out of Indiana. I talked a lot of trash about Indiana football when he was here. I wonder if he's on Facebook. I need to see what old Herv is up to.
Hervin McCormick. Man, you pull out You know what's funny is I could accuse you of Googling. But you put some good. You always got a story behind the number.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I got an idea what we're gonna do for 100. I'm gonna hold that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm just glad to get to 100 without you killing me. I consider that a blessing.
I didn't. Come on, man. I ain't want to kill you after episode 4 when I didn't get fired on my day off like I wanted to. I wasn't gonna kill nobody, man.
We gonna talk
it was never a point. It was never a point where I wanted to kill you.
That's not what Calvin Watkins said.
Yeah, I just threatened to kill you. I never want to kill you.
Oh, no, you took me to that little room you talking about.
No, you ain't been to the little room. I just cussed you out in 3D in real time. And, you was like, all right, cuss me out back, and we still here, dog.
Yeah, here we go. Speaking of that, if you ever get taken up to a little room and somebody else's negligence has caused you some harm, what you got to do is pick up the phone and call 972-934-8900. That's GreeningLaw. And just literally, you just say, hey, here's my sit rep. Here's my situation. What do you think? And I'm telling you, if they bring you on as a client, it's been a great day for you. And here's why. They handle everything. Because when you go up against somebody else's insurance company, don't fool yourself. It's a battle. It's a fight. It's a war. You want somebody riding with you. GreeningLaw is that place that'll ride with you. They tell you when to turn left and when to turn right and when to walk and when to crawl and when to hold tight, when to be still, when to crawl. All of that. Because they want you focused on nothing but getting better. They want you focused on healing and renewal. Get your mind right. Get your body right. Then you get your life back. And that's what they want you focused on. So to help you do that, they literally take care of everything. You need a doctor's appointment, they set one up for you. Just show up and go. You need to see a specialist. Again, they'll set you one up. They'll find you one, set it up. You just show up and go. They do all of those things so you can do what, people? Focus on healing and renewal. Get your mind right. Get your body right. Get your life back. It's really that simple. 972-934-8900 is the number. Let them help you through this long, tedious, intimidating, frustrating process. It can go on for a minute now. And every time you got a question, you just call them up, 972-934-8900. Say, hey, here's my deal. What's going on? They tell you. And check this out. They don't get paid unless you get paid. Ain't no hidden fees, no hidden charges, none of that. They don't get paid unless you get paid, which means you always at the top of the priority list. You always a numero uno. So let them help you do everything so that you can focus on healing and renewal, getting your mind right and your body right and your life back so you can go back to living life before somebody else's negligence harmed you. And with that, my man, let's call up our old friend Clarence E. Jr. We haven't heard from him in a minute because of this, that, and the other thing. Life been lifing, show been showing. But let's catch up with Chill and see what he got to say about the draft, amongst other things.
Roger that.
While we're waiting for Chill, I got to tell you, one of my boys just sent me a text message with my book, and looks like Barnes & Noble. He circled it. Now, my other question was, did you buy a copy? Don't just circle it. Did you buy a copy? But it's always a great thing when you walk in the bookstore and see your book in there. It's a blessing. What's up, man? How you doing?
Long time no hear.
Yeah, we've been busy on Thursdays, man. Blame Dave, the content guy, 1 week. Blame me 1 week. Blame, I think we had some technical difficulties 1 week. But before we get started, let's everybody give a 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Chill! As you enter the end of the 50s. But judging from my recent conversations, you still going strong.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm talking about your health, man.
Hey man, happy birthday, man! I ain't participating in all that. What he doing? All that old.
I say he's still going strong because I saw him with 2 crowns when we went out the other night. We had a nice little dinner party with the NBA writers who were in town. A few of the NFL guys, a few of his Omega brothers. It was a good night for all. I was up way past my bedtime for my boy. I just want the record to show that.
It was Saturday night, sir. You don't have a bedtime.
If y'all know me, I always got a bedtime.
It was Saturday night. It was Saturday
but
night.
I stayed up late. I got out late and I stayed up late. So hey,
we were done before midnight.
I'm not going to argue with you. That's late for me. I went right home and went to sleep. Now, had it not been raining, I'd have joined y'all for a cigar. I like a good stick here and there. Don't ask me to name none. And I don't like them unless they cost $45 and up. That's just me.
My God. Anyway. I'm not.
Yeah. Anyway. See, you can't help yourself, dog. What were your thoughts on that Cowboys draft, and did they accomplish what they needed to accomplish?
Well, I think that obviously it's really tough to grade a draft.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is. It's tough to grade a draft. We know what we think they need. We know what they need. We don't really know. I don't study the players, okay, like that. I don't study like 7th-round picks and 5th-round picks and all the other stuff. You don't know those guys from Adam, okay? Certainly, I think that the Cowboys put themselves in a hole in free agency where they had a lot of holes and a lot of needs. There was no way they could fill them all in the draft. They did take a step in the right direction by getting 2 starters in the first 3 picks to help rebuild an offensive line. I understand the focus of getting bigger on defense and using some of those picks to the 2nd-round pick as a defensive end who should be the future replacement for Tank Lawrence. How much he helps this year, I don't know, especially you go back to last year's class when you got nothing for them. And no impact at all from last year's class. So they took a step toward improving the roster after really taking a step back following the loss to Green Bay and really having a lesser roster with so many people they lost, so many starters. But they still have a long way to go.
You said they got a long way to go. How they going to get there? The talent acquisition may be 364, but you'd have missed.
Well, they claim they took a step in the right direction by re-signing one Zeke Elliott because they didn't get a running back in the draft. And I'm not going to beat them up when I get a running back in the draft too much because which running back makes you appreciably better?
I'll buy that.
Which running back will make a difference for his team? And whether it's Zeke or whether somebody you get on final cuts after training camp, you can find a serviceable running back at this point. The funny thing is, we're talking about a Cowboys team that in 2019, when Zeke held out, they valued the running back like nobody's business.
Yeah, they did.
Running back was the difference between the championships, which is one reason why they kowtowed to his holdout and gave him the last real big running back contract, because they felt the running back and the running game was going to be the difference in the Super Bowl champion. Now, with Zeke's return and basically getting a minimum salary and them going with this running back group of nobodies that tell you the running back don't matter anymore.
Let me give you my theory on that. I think that if you start at the beginning, people talk about, the Pittsburgh Steelers' identity is the 3-4 defense, and the Ravens' identity is we defensive-minded team, and we always play great defense. And the Raiders are always, we throw the long ball and all of that. Well, if you think about it, what's the Cowboys' identity always been? They've always had a triple threat offense. Even if you go back to the beginning and you say, well, Don Meredith and Bob Hayes and Don Perkins, and then you go into Tony D and, Roger and Drew. And then you move into, the triplets of the 90s. And even with Romo and Dez and, the running backs that they had. I mean, even if it was DeMarco Murray for a couple of years. But they've always kind of wanted that. And then with Zeke and Dak and Dez and Amari, it made sense. And so I think I think that's why the running back was such a big deal. And now that the running back's been de-emphasized, I think they were still so caught up in what they did that they just kind of ran with it a couple years too long. And now they've kind of decided that, hey, I guess we need to change our identity a little bit. And I think it doesn't help that Mike McCarthy's the coach. He ain't never really been a big super dude. He's had productive running backs, but he's always been a throw the ball guy. What do you think?
I mean, I hear you, and I hear the premise. And I would say that historically, the Cowboys' success have always been based on having a great running back in their offense. Going back to whenever. When they've been good and they've been successful, they've had a great running back in their offense.
They wanted Herschel and Tony together.
Yeah, and so now you're talking about a franchise now that again has devalued your running back position for whatever reason, and believes that hey, we get a good offensive line, which I think that again remaking the offensive line. I think Cooper Beebe is the best pick of those draft picks, the 3rd round pick from Kansas State. He may be the biggest, most physical offensive lineman they've had in a long time, if not ever. And I love, Travis Frederick was a great offensive lineman, but he was more of a, he was smart. And
Cooper ain't Larry Allen.
I'm sorry, I'm in center. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I was going to let him finish his thought before I jumped all on it.
I missed center.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
I missed center. And Travis Frederick, that's why I brought up Travis Frederick.
Right.
Travis Frederick was great. He was smart. He called all the plays. He could help out, but he wasn't necessarily a mauler. Even though he was a big boy, and sometimes big wide body nose tackle would run over him. That's not going to happen. Cooper's again a guy that likes to dirt people, but you go back to when the Cowboys had great offensive lines, the center was not always the a physical guy, even though on those championship teams,
No, Mark Stepnoski.
Stepnoski, right. But this guy is a big, bad mauler at center. And so that should only help the running game, whoever's the running back is.
Well, how did he do against your big fat guy Sweat last year?
He did great. I mean,
he
if you look
did
at the
good
tape.
against Texas.
Yeah, if you look at the tape.
Look at the tape. I just asked you.
I looked at the tape.
No. That's part of his tape. But you look at the tape,
right?
Sweat and your boy from Duncanville, when they went against him, they got nothing.
Yep.
Now they ate on everybody else. They eat on him. He did great against them. And so that's a perfect example. He handled Sweat well.
No, that's good. That's glad to know. It's always interesting. Like you say, you think he might be the most productive, the best pick early on, and it makes sense. It really does. But then you're like, well, how he last to the 3rd round?
Well, 3rd round ain't that bad for us. I mean, a center, a guard type guy. I'm talking about. You're talking about a guy and a lot of people had him higher on their boards in 3rd round. But he lasted because everybody, you had to run on tackles, you had to run on receivers. It's just different. But again, this guy was a 2-time Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year, 2-time All-American. I mean, he started 4 straight years at guard, center. I mean, just to production. When I say he's the most accomplished pick.
Well, no,
I'm just talking about when I said the best, I'm talking about the Cowboys picks. He's the best. And you look at it and listen, I like the potential of Tyler Guyton, but he's only played tackle 2 years.
Right.
And so, I'm just talking about the Cowboys picks. He was the best, most accomplished pick, ready to play pick right now.
Now, speaking of that, what'd you think of Marshawn Nealon's tape?
Again, he looks like a DeMarcus Lawrence clone.
Yeah, he was trying to say ain't nobody seen him play. That's what he's trying to say.
No, I'm just having fun. No, it's ain't nobody. I mean, I said this on Sunday, dog. I was like, I'm gonna take everybody's word on kneeling because ain't nobody been sitting around here watching Western Michigan play.
Well, again, but that's my point when you talk about great drafts. But the people whose job it is, to grade draft, to look at those guys have seen him play.
Right.
Look at some of the guys of Dame Booker. Some people they do like him. They do like what he's done. They do like his motor. You know, again, they really compare very favorably to a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence and his motor and the things he can do. But that's why it's hard for us, the layman, to sit up here and put draft grades. We don't know these guys.
Well, the only way.
I mean, it's cool to say everybody got a grade to grab, but we don't know these guys like that. We know name guys. A lot of people put up you know, because I saw him in Texas the other day. I'm okay, they get an A because they picked this guy, but that don't mean he's going to be good.
No,
There's one thing I put up. It's one thing I posted on Twitter on Sunday or Monday. They ripped viral. So this guy from USA Today just ripped the hell out of the Patrick Mahomes draft.
Right, I saw that.
I mean, because he's a media person. You know, well, he was in tech. He was running around and being undisciplined.
Yeah, everybody ripped Patrick though. Everybody ripped. A lot of people rip Patrick.
I understand that, but my point is, you don't know.
Yep.
You know, and so it's you know, to stay up here and say that it's easy to grade drafts. No, it's really not. You know, and like it's funny because a lot of people have given the Eagles top grades on the draft because they drafted all those Georgia guys, right? They had this, they would have got it. What have those Georgia guys done in Philadelphia?
Nolan Smith didn't do nothing. Jordan Davis played okay. Nolan Smith in the corner they drafted. Them guys wasn't no good last year.
No, and the Kobe Dean, the linebacker.
Yeah, Kobe Dean, right.
You know, I mean, you don't. All we know is names that we've seen.
Yeah.
Now, typically, when I'm talking about a draft, I'm more about did the positions that they take make sense, because that's because they got obvious needs, and so did they draft guys who seemingly made sense, but unless you sit around watching tape on a regular basis, you don't know about guys, which is kind of what we're saying.
Well, like Shoemaker last year, I didn't know him.
Oh, I did. I knew he couldn't play.
There you go.
Shoemaker,
Schoonermaker, Booty Maker. I don't know.
How about no playmaker?
Him. Yeah, well, there you go.
How about Mozzie? Everybody loved the Mozzie pick.
Yeah.
Well,
we did like Mozzie when he was a fat guy, not when he wanted to be sexy.
As you said, he fit the need, and he was was productive in college. Fit the need. They need a run stopper. How do you diss that pick? Then the guy don't pee or drop. As I've said, and that's the problem, because universally you understand the pick and say that was a good pick.
It was a good pick. He just can't play.
Right. Well, then it's not a good pick.
Well, philosophically, it was a good pick.
And the problem here is that the Cowboys are counting on Mozzie to be a player. And historically, and you can look it up yourself, but name me the first round pick on a Cowboys team that didn't pee or drop or didn't play at all as a rookie who came in and became a player.
Randy White.
Damn. That didn't take long.
It did take long because you know how long ago that was?
Still, you said name a player.
I'm glad you did. That's great. But that is
name a player in the Jerry Jones era.
You're making my point, and you have to go back to the 70s.
I don't have to. I just did.
No, you have to because you can't. There's no obvious Randy White that jump out at you. There's the Taco Charlton. There's the Bobby Carpenter. There's the Felix Jones. There's a Maurice Claiborne. There's no Randy Whites.
Well, now I'm looking.
There's no Randy Whites. They're all busts. They all what they were as rookies.
Let me see. Did Anthony Spencer do much as a rookie? I didn't say he was a great player.
I get your point because you got to go deep. We going Anthony Spencer. You got to go deep to find the guy.
You got to go deep.
Yeah,
you got to
right.
go deep.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And so
I feel you getting cranked up a little bit. I'm trying Trying to calm you down just a little.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
you might be right
history
on this one.
suggests.
Dave
history
LaFleur,
suggests-
Kavika Pittman.
Yeah, yeah.
History suggests if they don't play a lot as rookies, I'm talking about first round picks. You probably, they don't play. They don't become players, and so the Cowboys are sitting there telling you that, yeah, we expect a lot. Miles is gonna make a big second year jump. History suggests he's not. I mean, he's gonna play because he has to, because they have no one else. But
Right.
does that mean he's gonna be a player? And the Cowboys need him to be a player. They still need him to be a guy on the field because they have no one else.
Yeah, that's a good point you make there. Well, maybe they can put him on some neck bones and oxtails this offseason. He can get his weight back up.
Well, they get his weight back up. They say the Zimmer scheme is going to be different from him because, now the story is, if you go back to the tape on draft day, which is, again, we talk about the Cowboys was said on draft day, you got the guys in the locker room, we're picking this guy over Bergeron, offensive tackle guard that went to Atlanta. We're going to pick him because he makes our defense better now. They expected him to be a walk-in starter. Now
Right.
the excuse is, well, he didn't fit Dan Quinn's scheme, and Dan Quinn was asking him to do things that he didn't do at college. But yeah, you picked him.
Well,
to play Dan
bragging.
Quinn's system.
They was
And now the excuse is, or the reason is, well, what Zimmer does, they ask him to do is going to be more what he did in college, so it should be a better fit.
Yeah, the Cowboys was one of the points y'all made earlier in the year was before the season started. They was bragging about how good of a pass rusher he was, and
He didn't do that.
Y'all wasn't saying y'all brought him in to stop the run, but y'all talking about he can rush the passer. Can he stop? Can he do what y'all originally said he could do? And that's one of the points y'all was making early on.
Right, and that's the problem because Dan Quinn's scheme is about stop and run on the way back from the quarterback. You might get to the quarterback and getting upfield, and that's not what he did. But they said, well, he has those abilities to do that. Well, that's not what he did. Yeah. That's not what you saw on tape. And you drafted him to stop the run, and now you're saying, he didn't fit Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was asked to do something he wasn't used to doing. Well, why you pick him?
Well, that's always been one of my pet peeves. Don't pick a zone corner and ask him to play man.
Yep.
Don't pick a read and react nose tackle and then ask him to penetrate and be aggressive.
Yep.
I just think it's dumb when you do that.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what position. If you don't ask a guy to do something he didn't do in college, maybe you draft him late and ask him to change, but don't be spending premium picks on guys who haven't done it and you ask them to do something completely different than what they've been spent the last 3 or 4 years doing. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, maybe every now and then there's an outlier and it works, but to me, in general, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and piggybacking on that theme, the bottom line is, as much as the Cowboys need impact from this year's draft class, which they're expecting at least 2 starters. Again, I'll talk about the left tackle and the center. They need last year's draft class to make an impact this year, and not just Mozzie Smith, but you're talking about in which they have good reason to hope for Schoonmaker and DeMarvion Overshawn, who would have made an impact last year if not for a torn ACL in the preseason game when he was running all over the field.
I'm excited about him.
Ready to go. He's bigger, but you're going to get a big impact from a guy like DeMarvion Overshawn this year.
Boy, you just depressed me. I took a look at that 2023 draft again. I'm like, my goodness, that's bad.
Seriously. So we give him credit.
What about Fehoko? I don't even remember him.
But Fehoko is the guy that Dan Quinn sold the Cowboys on. He's a 4th-round pick, defensive end. The Cowboys Dan Quinn stomped on the table for Fehoko, okay? Stomped on the table. This guy has Pro Bowl potential. This guy, I'm serious. 4th-round pick. This guy's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's stomped on the table for them to draft Fehoko because he just had this guy has the upside. We're going to develop. He's going to be a Pro Bowler, pass rushing type guy. He didn't play a snap.
That's what I'm saying. Wow. Like 4th-round pick's supposed to do something.
Well, the third was what's the man's name? Schoonmaker was third. Wasn't he the third?
No, Schoonmaker was second. The third pick was The third pick was Overshaw.
There you go.
So and Overshaw at least was hurt. He got an excuse, and he would have played.
I think he a
He at
baller
least showed.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, he would. He showed something on the field. None of the other guys showed anything. Schoonmaker was hurt going back to minicamp, but he was set back. Uh, so, but yeah, the fourth round pick, they got nothing out of that draft. So give them credit for drafting when they draft well, but they did not draft well in 2023.
No, and they need that to change quick, fast, and in a hurry. What do you think about Zeke spinning the block?
You know, I like Zeke. I like his family. I like his agent. You know, he wanted to be here.
I feel a butt coming.
No, I'm just saying he wanted to be here. Um, we really wanted to come home. You know, and be with the Cowboys again. I talked about in open. I mean, I just tells you again that the Cowboys don't value the running back position the way they once did with Zeke, and now Zeke is here. It is evidence that they don't value the running back position. I think he's going to be. He doesn't have the same juice that he had early in his career. I think everybody understands that.
Right.
I think he may have be better than he was when he left because of his hurt. You know, he had a torn PCL he was playing with in 2022. You know,
Right.
and he's, you know, so again, the thing about it is he played 17 games last year. He still will be on the field. He's going to be out there. He's going to be a veteran. He's certainly going to be better in red zone. You look at the Cowboys. Zeke had 12 rushing touchdowns, 12 red zone rushing touchdowns in 2022. The Cowboys had 5 last year from the running backs. You know, and everybody remembers that play at the goal line when Tony Pollard couldn't get in against Miami. It was at that 1 foot line.
Right.
You know, that won't happen with Zeke. So they'll be better in the goal line. I think the big play from the running back position is gone because you don't have that guy with that type of juice. But again, you improve the blocking. I think that some of those guys can be successful, and you know, again, they may not be done at the position, but you know, so I mean, I think Zeke will be serviceable. I think he'll be fine. You just want the big play that you got from Tony with those 60-yard runs or 30-yard runs. I don't know if that's in the running back. And Mike McCarthy got to love the big play, you know, and so they'll have to get it from somewhere else. My issue, and nobody talks about it, I really worry about this receiving core. If CD gets hurt, you're playing with a bunch of guys.
Right.
And outside of CD and Brandon Cooks, you know, not like Brandon, I just think he's small, you know, and which is one reason why he got bullied on that first interception against Green Bay. You know,
Right.
You need some bigger guys, and you need someone to think that Jalen Tolbert is just going to jump as number 3. He's not done anything. You know, he's
In
basically
2
no
years.
replacement last year. You know, you look at the receiving cores across the league, and then look at the Cowboys receiving core like this receiving core is devoid of talent. You know, look what Houston is playing with, and the guys they have, and what they had Diggs to already assault the receiving core. And you just look around the league at some of the guys they have, the other teams have, and you know, it's funny the Cowboys they like Dak, but they surely make it hard for him. You look at the running back position, look at the receiving core. They make it hard for him to look like a $60 million quarterback. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, that brings me to my last question I had for you, which is, and I don't think I'm breaking news here. Like, Dak is, to me, has never been the kind of quarterback who put the team on his back and carry you. And there's only a handful of guys who are like that, and most of them are Hall of Famers. And so when you say we're taking away talent and Dak got to do more, every time he's been in that position, it's been a fail. And so as I look at this season, I'm like, the running back position is down, the receiver doesn't have depth. I don't know how you expect Dak to perform at his highest level because he's a guy who needs weapons to get the ball to, and you hope his decision-making and leadership makes up for the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. But, you know, I would say this, and the receiving core is not going to look much different than it did last year. The running back position is not going to look much different than it did last year. And he had the best season of his career. Their issue with Dak is, can he do it in the playoffs? Can he put those guys on his back in the playoffs? I think he'll be productive in Mike McCarthy's offense. But, you know, whether it's Dak or Mike McCarthy, this is certainly Dak's, a contract year. But it's Mike McCarthy's contract and the whole coaching staff's contract year. It's just frustrating to me if I'm a coach when everybody's contract is up, the whole staff is up, and you're asking us to coach them up with less talent. Not just Dak having to play with us, the whole coaching staff has to coach them up with less talent. Because we understand that it's not just about it's going to be hard to get 12 wins again. I mean, that's just with the schedule, you just don't do that. But I think they have a chance to get to the playoffs. But you're asking them not just to get to the playoffs, but also get further in the playoffs than ever have since 1995 with a lesser roster.
Yeah, which is why I don't think Dak will be here next year, and I don't think McCarthy will be here next year, and I think next year will end up being a salary cap reset year. And who knows, maybe we'll get Shedeur Sanders in the draft.
Okay.
We can start over there. Boy, Clarence was not excited about that prospect.
I'm glad that was you said that was my last question. I hear what you're saying. I just don't. Number one, let me back up. I don't think Jerry ever wants to be in a rebuilding year, and so it's going to take more for me to think he's going to let that go. And I understand what you're saying, contract reset, all this stuff, but Jerry ain't trying to go 4-12.
I don't think. You said an interesting thing, and you and I go back and forth on this. When you say, I don't think Jerry will let Dak go, I think at a certain point it become about respect, and it could just be, you know what, man, bump y'all. I got other offers out here, and so y'all don't think I can get it done? Fine.
Well, you only get to the offers if I let you get to those offers. And again, there's a negotiating period before the start, even if you don't get it done in free agency or during the season, there's a negotiating period before the start of free agency. Ultimately, if the Cowboys come on an offer that Dak accepts, he would rather stay here. Is all my point. I don't care to respect. He grew up a Cowboys fan. He understands. He would rather stay here than like Zeke. I mean, they want to build their life here. They love it being a Cowboy. So at the end of the day, just like after all the Zeke Who stuff and all the disrespect, when you sign that check, when you give my check, all that bitterness goes away. So ultimately, if they do pay him, the bitterness will go away. And again, Jerry does not want to ever go 4-12 on purpose. They may happen because of injuries, like did the Romo years or whatever else, but he's not going to go into the season saying, "I'm trying to go 4-12," and have people not come to the state.
No, that's the hopium of Trey Lance. I mean, that's what they'll say you.
It was interesting because as of right now, all three Cowboys quarterbacks are in contract years. Trey Lance is not picking up the 5th-year option. This is the last year of his deal. Last year of Cooper Rush's deal, and certainly as of now, the last year of Dak Prescott's deal.
Well, see, I look at Trey Lance, and the preseason has to be all about him. Like, I would just start him and play him 3 games or so. Yeah, because you already know what Cooper Rush can do.
The preseason is about Trey Lance. They're gonna play a lot. He's gonna play a lot of football in the preseason.
Yeah, because ain't nobody seen him play.
Yeah,
and when they find out if he can play, there's your quarterback. You're starting in 2025 until Shedeur is ready to step in there and play.
There you go. From your mouth to God's ears.
All right, Clarence E. Hill Jr., we appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll be covering social media controversies.
All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Sanders family is us against the world, baby.
He gonna play with Tupac. He gonna say, "Well, Dak was mid, and he was mid."
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right, brothers.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Clarence E. Hill Jr., brought to you each and every Friday by Smoky John's Barbecue, home of the Jam Session Bowl. Got a text yesterday from my boy Kevin Johnson. You know what he had, Joe? He had his and hers Jam Session Bowls at Smoky John's Barbecue yesterday. How about that? That to me is impressive, the his and her bowl. I was like, man, I didn't think y'all could handle it like that, but he did. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the Jam Session Bowl, let me tell you what it is. It's a Smoky John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird. It's a bowl with a mac and cheese base or mashed potato base. Then your choice out of 2 out of 5 smoked meats. Looks to me like he went with your boy goes with, the brisket and the sausage yesterday. And then all that stuff you find on a loaded baked potato, like cheese and chives and bacon bits, sour cream, all of that's good stuff. Butter, all that good stuff. They put that on top. Then you can drench it with sauce or you can drizzle it with sauce. Your choice. And then once you do all of that, it is what we like to say to live for. It is that good. It is delicious. I was surprised that they each had a bowl because it's enough for 2 people, real talk. If you got a little shorty, it's 5, 6, 7. It might be enough for 3 y'all, real talk. But the Jam Session Bowl is phenomenal. If you know, you know, because it's on the secret menu. You got to ask for that thing. You just can't sit up there and look at the menu because it's not up there.
Don't sleep on that mac and cheese base.
See, that's what we're talking about.
That mac and cheese base was off the chain.
I've had them both. I like them both. Although I really prefer the mashed potatoes because I like to swirl it around a little bit. But hey, that's just me. You can't go wrong with either one. And hey, if you got 2, guess what you can do? You can mix and match. How about that? If you need Smoky John's in your life a little more immediately, you ain't got time to get there today or tomorrow, check this out. You can go to SmokyJohns.com, click on the marketplace, ta-da, and order the sauce or the rub. That's the rub right there. Get it at your crib a couple days. And if you need it like today and still can't get there, you can get the rub at H-E-B's all over DFW. You know, H-E-B, great grocery store, because I'm a bougie grocery store guy. But H-E-B, they got them in Burleson, Waxahachie, McKinney, Allen, everywhere. Swing through, pick up the rub there. It's fantastic on all your different meats. Yes, I have used it on popcorn as recently as a couple days ago. It's that good. But Smoky John's Barbecue, it is to live for. And what is it, people? It is love in your mouth. That's what it is. Why you laughing, Dave? That's Dave, the content guy, laughing. Joe just shaking his head. But hey, it happens around here. How about those Dallas Mavericks, man? Where you at, dog?
I'm here. I'm just washing my hands. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, disinfecting. Like,
I put a little post on Clapper, where you can find me at I am Jean-Jacques Taylor. It's got a TikTok format to it, but I put a post up there yesterday talking about the Mavericks game. And I said similar to what we talked about here, which was Kyrie had made, and you find this out about NBA players. Kyrie had made a specific point after the game 4 loss to say, I got to start faster. I got to create some things earlier. And so it was no surprise that Kyrie, he ended up with 14 points, which is not a big total for him, but they didn't need him to score. But what did he do, dog? He came out, set the tone with a couple quick buckets to help make sure that the Mavericks got off to a good start. And I knew the Mavericks were in good shape when I think they were up by 1 or 2 at the end of the first quarter, because it was clear that they were engaged defensively. You know, with Kyrie and Luka, that eventually they're going to be able to score some buckets. And then, more importantly, on the road, their role players were engaged and playing well early. And then the bottom line was, I think it ended up being 123-93. But it was a blowout, and they took care of them. They were up by 10 at halftime, up by 20 going into the fourth quarter, and it really wasn't much of a game. It was a terrific performance overall by the Mavericks, and now they can close it out at the crib. What was your take on last night's big win?
Well, I did a 180 on Kyrie with all the vaccine talk and all the drama with LeBron and all of that stuff. All the stuff that he's been through, the world is flat and all of that. I will tell you this: that dude is a champion. And you tend to forget that he's a champion because it seemed like it's been a while, but it haven't. But he's a champion, and his impact is big. The 14 points, like you said, that's one thing. But the impact in the locker room, the impact on the team, the plays that he make that ain't in, that's not in the scoring column. I'm a total 180. I wouldn't have nothing to do with Kyrie before he came to Dallas.
He is a phenomenal player. And I don't say that about a lot of cats. And I'm telling y'all, and I've been saying, and again, I ain't breaking no news here, but I'm telling y'all, there's not a lot of teams in the NBA that have two phenomenal players.
Legitimate superstars.
Right. They might have 1-1 or one, but they don't. Not a lot of teams got two legitimate superstars, which means, and I'm telling y'all, when they're close games at the end, you got problems with the Mavericks because they got guys who there's nothing you can do about it. You just hope that they miss. And so it doesn't mean that they'll win the championship or whatever. It just means that they're a very dangerous team to mess with. And if the games are close, or if it's a one-game situation, Game 7 or whatever, you can have problems because they got two legitimate superstars.
Well, the flair that they play with, man. Luka steps back on the three, and then Kyrie come back the next possession, up in the lane, quick jumper, man, got me on my feet. I'm going, man, that's crazy. Just trading off possessions like that.
Here's what I say, man, which is kind of what you're talking about, and it holds true in all sports, but it's really definable in basketball because of the way the game is and the way the momentum is and the way people call timeouts and stuff. They have players in Luka and Kyrie who really understand the moments that are there. Where Bill Parcells used to say this, and it's true in every sport, but Bill Parcells. And I remember the first time he said it, I was like, damn, that's kind of deep. And what he said was this: there's a point in every game where it is there to be won. It could happen at any point in the game, but it's a point where the game is there to be won. And the best teams understand that this is the moment, and they seize it, and they go win the game right then. And so the Mavericks got two guys who understand those moments. And, man, when they smell it, they seize it most of the time. And then they go ride off with the dub. And it took them, until about after the trade deadline. Then they got the other pieces that they needed. Because as Joe will tell you, it gave them an inside presence that they lacked. Because they're going to hit from the outside. And Kyrie got that mid-range game that's unstoppable because he could get wherever he wants on the court. What they didn't have was an inside game. Man, I know you was jumping up and down because they was rolling and dunking like crazy in the first half last night.
52 points in the paint.
20 in the first quarter.
52 points in the paint, though. Well,
this the Mavericks.
Yeah. That's why I was saying inside out. Let's get them guys going first and then let the superstars do what they do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Can we talk about 55?
He was a beast last night.
You always need somebody that's almost on the street and almost, that's close to being out of the NBA to be hungry. You get role players on good teams like that, and that's what Dennis Jones Jr. is.
Derrick Jones, man.
Derrick Jones Jr.
Now, what I didn't realize, did you know he was a former slam dunk champion?
No. I
can't.
No stars being, don't.
Well, that's why he won it, because no stars be in it.
They don't be
but you can tell he got hops.
Yeah. And he's hungry. I'm just saying, you got players that's, those pro leagues, they invite leagues. You just can't walk up and play.
Right.
They got to invite you to play. So, these guys, some guys like him, he might not be here next year. He might be here for 10 years. But his time here is tenuous. Maybe he here, maybe he ain't.
Well, he won the 2020 Slam Dunk Championship. But last night he was 5 of 7 from the field, scored 12 points. Scrappy, played some good defense. And he's a classic role player.
Yeah.
One night he might hit 12, next night he might hit 2.
Yep.
But they also got a terrific performance last night from Maxi Kleber, who's been invisible for most of the playoffs. He hit 5 out of 7 threes. And that is huge because he's been so bad offensively that he's been very tentative on his shot. He's been guiding it and aiming it, not shooting it.
Yep.
Well, you could tell last night he was feeling it on the corner threes. And once the first one went down, it's just like anything else, man, in basketball. He got confidence. Then he started draining them. He got 15 points, and that made up for P.J. Washington only scoring 2, but he still played pretty good defense.
He was all over the place, blocking shots. I think he got the second most blocks behind LeBron or something like that.
I don't know about that. We had to go look. You talking about in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, yeah. That's what I mean.
But it was a terrific all-around performance. And one of the big plays last night was, I think the Mavericks were up by about 22. And I could see it happening because Westbrook got a transition bucket. The Mavericks missed a shot. Paul George came down and hit a contested three. The Mavericks, I think, missed a shot. George came down and hit another three from beyond the top of the key with a hand in his face. And I was like, is he finna warm up? Because they didn't cut this lead down to, I think it was 16. And it had been as high as like 26, 27. And I'm like, are they finna make this a game? And then the Mavericks came down with about 30 seconds left in the third quarter, worked the ball around. Josh Green hit a corner three, and Mason Plumlee fouled him. Terrible play. Josh Green hit the free throw. They go back up by 20 with 7 seconds left in the third quarter, and then next thing you know, they up by 30. And so to me, that was a huge play right then by Josh Green. It was the only bucket he scored all game, but it was kind of apropos for the night for the Mavericks because it came when they needed it most. The other thing I took away from this, and I sent you a text during the game, we had been talking about stars and superstars, and last night was just another indication to me why Paul George is a star, but he ain't no superstar. And then I thought it was funny that Charles Barkley came out and talked about it after the game, about him and Harden, because Harden is no longer a superstar. He used to be a superstar. He's no longer a superstar. And that's because James Harden last night, 2 for 12, 7 points. That doesn't happen for NBA superstars. Paul George, 4 of 13, 15 points, no impact. NBA superstars make an impact. Even if their team lose, they're going to make an impact. You can't control NBA superstars. And that's why, as crazy as it sounds, LeBron is still a superstar at his age. Because tell me the last time LeBron had single digits and no impact in a playoff game. I mean, you can't come up with one. And so there's only a few of them, but the Mavericks got 2 of them, and they're going to be a really, really tough out. I expect them to close it out in 6. I expect them to come out and play with a certain degree of, as Rick Carlisle would say, force in the first quarter. You're going to have to beat the Clippers, but if you punch the Clippers in the mouth, the Clippers will go away. But you got to punch them. And so it'll be interesting to see if this team is, even with the 2 stars, if they're mature enough to come out and play another quality first quarter like they did and tell the Clippers that, we weathered your storm. Now we're finna beat you behind and send you back to L.A. or Cancun or wherever you go in the off season. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with all that. I was thinking, so you watched TNT version? I watched Channel 21.
No, I watched Channel 21.
Yeah, I like Falwell.
Falwell crazy.
Yeah, him and Derek Harper got that's the yin and the yang. Derek's like, well, that was pretty good play. That was solid. Followers, they got him. They going over. Yeah, I like that shit. It's pretty good, right?
Well, now they've done it so long that they've reached a real comfort level with one another.
Oh yeah, most
and
definitely.
So they can really do their thing.
But talking about the players, Gafford was putting the ball on the floor. Gafford was trying, even when he didn't have a dunk, he was trying to dunk on people. You know what I'm saying? It was like, wait. He was, you know what I'm saying? When guys are playing like that kind of energy right there, it was right. Man, we going to kill these guys because Gafford got a couple of fouls. He got fouled a couple of times where he had no shot, but he was going to try to dunk on their ass anyway. And I was just like, man, where'd that energy come from? But he been banged up the last couple of games. The role players really stepped out. Lively on the pick and roll. I love that every time. Every time that dude gets there. And he's smart, too. He's a smart player, too, for a young guy.
Yeah, well, he was 5 of 5 from the field.
Yeah.
Gafford only scored 8 points, but he got 6 free throws. I bet it's been a minute since he had 6 free throws.
But that's what I'm saying. He was trying, there go what I'm saying. He was trying to dunk on people when there wasn't no dunk. When you that aggressive right there, you're going to get fouled going to the bucket.
Yeah. So they had the right mindset And like I said, it'll be interesting to see if they can continue it because, I'm telling you, the Clippers, you have to beat them, but they're ready to go. But you have to tap them. You can't be playing with them, but you got to tap them. And if you tap them, they'll lay it down and they'll disappear because they don't have a lot left. They know it was over yesterday. Only question I had was why Luka was still in the game when they was up by 30 with about 6 minutes left, and that's right about the time Kid took him out. And so I was glad because I was like, I already banged up. Now you don't need nothing crazy to happen with Westbrook. Speaking of Westbrook, now you called him some name last night, but Westbrook used to be one of my favorite players.
Me too.
Because he played with such energy and such passion, and he played so hard. And now it feels like he understands that his game has disappeared. And so now, instead of just playing hard, now he just kind of play dirty. And I'm like, dog, you better than that, man. But maybe he's not. And so it's a little disappointing to see where his game has gone to from where it used to be. And so, I'm a little disappointed in Westbrook, but I'm not sure that he cares.
Nah, he don't care. He don't care because he's trying to hurt our guy, man. I mean, it seems like he's trying to hurt anybody. Just come crashing in the middle, knocking people down. I'm going, what are you doing?
No, I think he's just frustrated. One last thing about the Mavericks, you touched on it a little bit. They played 5 games, and in 3 of them, they've held the Clippers to 93, 90, and 93 again. So they're playing some quality defense, forcing the Clippers out of their comfort zone and making them do a lot of things they don't like to do.
The third quarter was all defense.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No. And, again, even Luka's playing some defense on a much more consistent basis than we've ever seen him do it. They got a shot. I don't know how deep they'll go, but they got a shot. Them Denver Nuggets, they tough, man. So, again, the Mavericks is currently composed. Ain't nobody looking forward to playing the Mavericks. And so we'll see if they can close out the Clippers and move on to Oklahoma City, which will be a different type of test. But first you got to get rid of the Clippers, and that starts on Friday night at the AAC. Let's move on to the block, bro. All right, this is my public service announcement for the block. I told y'all this about, 4 or 5 months ago. Well, it's time. It's just a reminder, man. I told you, probably quarterly. I should probably do it monthly, but I do it quarterly. I was going through my credit cards, man. Because one of my goals for 2024 was to eliminate all credit card debt. All right, so I should have no credit card debt at the end of this month. So I was going through the credit cards, looking at them, and damn it, dog, I saw a charge on a Discovery card, which is not a card I use often. I use it for a couple of different things. For example, I put my son's electric bill on there so that I make sure it gets paid on time, and 2, I can always find out where it is because it's on a card I don't use very often. And guess what, dog? Because I don't use it very often, I know what the bill should be. It should be about $100, $80 to $100. Dog, I checked the credit card yesterday, and there's something on there called, I can't remember what it was. But I was like, what is this? And I looked it up, and it was some kind of company that converts video. Like, you got a video, it'll convert it to another format. And I was like, that ain't nothing I use. There's no need for me to use that. So I'm looking it up on the credit card report, man, on my statement. And it says, these days, a credit card will tell you whether you used it online or whether you actually swiped the card. Hey, doc, why this thing got a card swipe on it? I was like, I know damn well I haven't card swiped it at any point. So I called Discover, went to the fraud unit, and they're like, oh. I said, hey, this is fraud. I haven't done this. And they're like, oh, this has been coming out of your account for 8 months.
How much money was that?
$5.
Okay.
And so it fits. So when I just look at the bill at the end of the month, It was kind of where it should be, so I hadn't looked at it. And I hadn't used the Discover card very much, so I was just like, and then I saw something, dog. I had cleaned this up from November or October, dog. Why did it show back up on my credit card bill again? So I had to call the people up and cuss them out. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, we had this conversation. How you just gonna start my bill again? So you know what I did, dog? I went to a drastic step yesterday. When I talked to Discover, I said, hey, I want a new card and I want a new number and I don't want any recurring charges to transfer. I said, I'm gonna go back and start them all again fresh. And then you know what I did after that, dog? I called all my other credit card companies, which is 4 of them, and I said, hey, I want a new number, and I don't want any recurring charges to come with the new number. I'll go and redo them myself. Because these companies get your number in their system, man, and it feels to me like they go, hey, I don't think Joe is looking. It's been a few months. Let's roll it through and see if we can push it through for another 2 or 3 months.
That's exactly what they do.
Okay. I think it's...
What you're doing is I'm going to interrupt you here. What you're doing is a great idea. It's just time consuming.
You're exactly
that's
right.
That's the only thing right there.
They are banking on you not doing that. Mm-hmm. And because, you know, dog, that's 6 to 8 months, that's $150. That just disappeared. Now they're going to credit my account, but I'm just like, why do I have to do this? But people are so crooked, man, and the world is these credit card these other companies understand that they can get away with it, and so I think they just run it. Hey, let's see if we can get away. If we do, it's good. If not, hey, we tried a shot, or we're gonna get away with it from 9 people, and you know the 10th one, hey, they caught us. Okay, good for them. But these other 9 we got, and then multiply that times 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 customers. That's a lot of money you stealing on the sly. And so, yeah, dog, I told him come to send me new cards and new numbers because I don't trust anybody now. And I'll just type in and start from scratch myself because I am so sick of the fraud, bro.
Yeah, I don't trust myself, so I don't have no credit card debt.
Oh, well, you a good man.
I have zero credit. I have a check card. And I have
Go
zero. My wife got a credit card, but I don't trust myself with that. I'd have 6 guns, 9 drones, and no lights at my house. How about that? So I'm not that good. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Money is the transitional thing with me. So
think about. I had this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine. I go, it's a sad world we live in, where it's probably better to have $10,000 and an 800 credit score than it is $100,000 and a 500 credit score. You know what I mean?
Nah, explain that. I think I'm following you, but
it's because the world really revolves around. It's crazy when you don't need money.
Oh yeah,
people give you money.
I got you. Yeah.
People like when you don't need money, you got all kind of people want to give you money.
Well,
when you need money, people don't want to give you nothing.
Well, it's like this here.
Like when I needed a car,
yeah,
we got you at 21% interest, Mr. Taylor.
Got you, yeah.
When I did need a car, hey, how about 1.9? How about 0% for 60 months? What?
Yeah.
And it's just wild to me that your credit score really is one of the most important things you can have these days because it opens up everything else because people kill you on the interest.
Well, let me ask you this. We both have college students. And I remember being in college and getting 50 credit cards when you don't need it. You know what I'm saying? They give them to you. And that's why I don't fool with them now. In my lifetime, I probably went through 3 different sets of credit cards where I couldn't handle that shit. So I was like, all right, I'm done with that.
Well, here's an interesting thing. This is a great conversation. We talked about the other day, like what people should teach people in school. Mm-hmm. Well, they should, but they don't. So we can't count on that.
APR on credit cards is one of them.
Yep. And so I think it's incumbent on parents to teach it to their kids.
Yep.
And so I got now you got to listen carefully. I got a credit card in my son's name. Like I have an account, I just put one in his name when he was probably 14. I didn't give it to him. I just put it in his name. And by putting it in his name, you're establishing credit for him already, even though he don't know nothing about it. I just did it. Never even told him about it. Then when he got to be about 17, I said, okay, hey, here's a credit card. Let me explain to you the difference between American Express, which is a charge card, which is what I'm giving you. Charge card means you pay it back at the end of every month.
Roger that.
You spend $100, you pay back $100 at the end of every month. You spend $20, you pay $20 at the end of every month. This is a charge card. I'm not giving you a credit card. A credit card is you spend $100, maybe you pay $50 back. They put interest on it, and so now instead of owing $100, you owe $110. As I was trying to explain it to him simply.
Yeah.
So I was like, one of them got interest, one of them don't. I'm giving you a charge card because you don't need anything where you need to accrue any interest. If you can't afford it, or by the time the bill come in, then you don't need it. Now, my reasoning behind doing this was, one, to establish his credit early, so by the time he graduated from college, he would already have credit like 8 years in his name, and that would help him when he was going to get a car or going to get a house down the road. The other thing was just what me and you was just talking about, so that when he got on college campus and they said, hey, get a free koozie with this credit card application, he would walk right on past it like, I done had a credit card for 3 years. It ain't no big deal to me. It's not some new shiny toy that I need to get. So these are the things I tried to teach him. Now, I'm not saying that, he won't make mistakes with credit, because he has, because I put him on a thing. Hey, Doc, this is under my name, man. Where is money at? Because you know what he was doing, dog? He had one of the great things of all time. And he a good kid. I like to preface it by this. But I had to sit him down one day, explain to him like this. I said, hey, man, let me explain something to you. Well, let's have this conversation. He said, okay. I said, you got this hoodie and T-shirt business, right? He goes, yes. I said, okay. How are you buying your supplies? Oh, I use a credit card to get the hoodies and the stuff I need. I said, okay, that's good. And you selling them, right? Yeah. How much you selling them for? Well, the hoodies go for $40 and the shorts go for $30. I said, okay, that's good. Is there some reason you're not paying back the materials that you bought? He go, huh? I said, dog, you putting the cost on the credit card. Then when you sell the goods and services, you pocketing the cash. You're not paying your bills, man. I said, this ain't my business. I'm not investing in it. This is yours. You owe me $400. He had that look on his face. I said, please and thank you. When can I expect it? And so I got that. And so then we became clear on, this is not just a financial business, man. You can use it, but then you got to pay back your expenses, and what's left is called profit. Perhaps you need to take that in your business class. But these are all lessons you hope that they learn in college, so that life as they enter real adulthood, where they're truly independent, is a lot less dubious or a lot less dangerous for them from a financial tip.
Yeah, I had financial stuff like that going on where I got asked, okay, I had 3 kids around the same age. One of them asked me for an allowance. I said, I'll give you $50 a week. She goes, oh, that's $200 a month. I said, that's cool, but everything extracurricular that you do, go to the movies, get some stuff at school, your new tennis shoes, all that shit come out there $200. Or when you need something, or when you decide to go to the movie, or when you decide we want to go get you some shoes, I can just buy that, but I ain't got $200 I can just give you for you to screw around with, because then I got to give $600. I got to give everybody $200. But I do have what you need. I do have that. So let's understand that we don't have money to throw away, but I got money to buy what you need. That's why I work hard, so you can have your toys and I can have mine, but I ain't got no damn $200 for you just to run around and throw at somebody. I don't have that.
No.
So it's all good.
And I think those are the great conversations that the more you can have, the better. As kids are growing up.
Yeah, we go to the car dealership. We do that too. deal, making that deal. Okay, this is how we do it. Let's start out with this. Let's start out with your financing. What's your credit score look like?
Yep.
All of that stuff, Let's go to credit union. Let's see what they got in interest rate.
Oh,
I told them all that. Yeah.
No, that's great because I did the same thing. I didn't do all of that, but like I took him and opened up a bank account when he was probably when he was about 12. And then as he got older, hey, these are different elements to a bank account. Just because, you get to college and you hear about so many kids have no idea how to write a check, how to endorse a check that somebody gave them, and you just like, well, that seems basic, and it is until you realize that, well, somebody taught me along the way how to do this. And, you're just trying to, finance is one of the biggest things in the world because you don't necessarily have to make a lot of money per se if you know how to use it because you can maximize it. I tell people all the time, whether they're relatives or friends, we're talking finances and I'm struggling, I said, you got two options, baby. You can make more money or you can have fewer bills. And a lot of times it's easier to have fewer bills than it is to make more money.
Well, one of the things you learn when you start adulting, and especially if you got a family and you're adulting, you start learning things like debt-to-income ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things I taught my kids, my two older kids, when they wanted cars in college, all right, look, I got a hole in my debt-to-income ratio that's about $450. So we got to get where I had paid my truck off and it was $450 a month. Both of y'all payments got to fit into that. So what that means is you got to get a car that's like $15,000 or $13,000, $15,000 under. We got to get the good interest rate. One payment was $238, and I think the other one was $250. So we was right in there. Where just in case they couldn't do what they supposed to do, I had the hole in my income where I could pay their stuff. Right. I could sell their stuff. But you start strategizing like that, and you don't get all stressed out because I wasn't going to work 9 extra routes to pay for their damn cars, and I had them put equity in it. Bring me $1,000 after the summer, after you done worked. No, bring me $1,000 when summer gets here, after you done worked all school year. Bring me $1,000 down. That's your sweat equity in it, and we'll go ahead and go. We'll do what we got to do. But if you don't put no equity in it, I'm not co-signing for nothing. So you protect yourself and you protect them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I've already told mine I'm not a co-signer. And mine are good, but I don't believe in co-signing.
Well, you set it up other ways, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I set you up for success, but ultimately you need to be responsible.
Oh, well,
I got you.
Well, when I co-sign, you think every time somebody in that grade was like, "Hey, man, that's our car, right?" You know what's going on, and it's like, you need, it just kind of, like I said, I had it where I could pay for both of them just in case they defaulted. They didn't, but you kind of gotta back yourself up and say, it can't be extra. I couldn't have two $400 payments each.
Right.
Because they did what they were supposed to do. Eventually, they paid their own insurance and stuff like that. At first, I paid the insurance, and then gradually they came in to pay their own insurance. Yeah, I even helped them I helped a couple people. I helped my daughter get a job where I was at. Right. So you got to kind of set them up.
Yeah.
Lead them to the water.
Yeah. No, I believe in that. Well, see, there's a great conversation on credit and family this morning. I had no idea where that was going because I had something else in mind, but maybe we'll talk about that next week. Yeah. Since me and Joe was arguing about something that happened 30 years ago. With the same passion as if it happened yesterday.
Hey man, whatever man. Hey, when you tell a story, you a revisionist, dog. You be revising the hell
I'm telling my truth.
Yeah,
that's
truth.
That's how the story started. I said, "This is my truth, man."
I guess
it's what happened to me. It's how I saw it.
Yeah.
These are the emotions I felt.
It was some bullshit. Is what it was. But I ain't mad at you.
See how he did that, man.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So remember to follow the show on the YouTube. Okay, I promise you. Next week, we're going to tell you about what's going on YouTube. Because we're going to do some stuff about it today. We got that coming up, so follow it at The Real Jacques Talk. Follow the show on Instagram at The Real Jacques Talk. You can find me on X, Twitter, whatever we call it these days, at JJT Journalist. I am Jean-Jacques Taylor is the handle. And remember, if you think you follow me and you don't, some person hijacked my account. They ain't even asked for ransom. They just hijacked the thing. And I'm also on Clapper. Yeah, go check out Clapper. It's got a TikTok format, but it's a little different.
TikTok,
but you'll enjoy it.
TikTok format.
Yeah, TikTok. TikTok, what you throw in your mouth. Until we chat again, for Big Joy and the Big Rig, you guys be blessed.